now. I'm going to be doing a tank guide for Paladin. If you've seen my tank guide on Dark Knight, or if you have not, and you want to play Dark Knight, I appreciate you looking at it. If you have not seen it, please make sure you check out my Dark Knight tank guide, as it goes over some of the important parts of tanking on Dark Knight. Now guys, all my guides, I just go for the basics. I never add in all of the details, because I feel in order to properly play this game, you need to play it your own way. If you're playing a class the way somebody else plays it, you won't be able to play it as successfully as you could on your own. So please remember this, anyone watching this video, that this is purely a tank guide that's going to show just the basics. It is not going to show every single part of this tank. If you wish to learn how to play Paladin better, the only way I can suggest to do that is to actually get on the class and play the class yourself. Now, let's go ahead and first start by going over a Paladin's status. So first of all, we look at our attributes. Now before, we used to stack strength on pretty much all tanks. The reason being that strength increased our overall damage, attack power. It helped us hold hate or aggro. It also helped us to do more damage when we were off tanking, and made fights go a lot faster. Now this all got updated about I think 2 patches back, and now vitality actually ups our damage dealt. What that means is that all your bonus attributes on every single tank, might I add, even Dark Knight and Warrior, will now go into vitality, not strength. Also, your gear should all be tanking gear. Nothing here should be vitality gear. It should all be tank gear. With that said, that's pretty much the basics you gotta know about your tank. Vitality. That's all that matters. As for the secondary properties, you need your accuracy to get that hit chance. You need to have the, then you gotta usually pick between accuracy, crit, or determination. For a Paladin, personally, I think determination would be a better one to go, as it allows you to do more damage. But crit, if you want to go the crit, if you want to have that higher chance of hitting harder every now and then, that's fine. If you just want to do overall better damage, then that'd be, again, determination. Parry, again, with your shield, you're going to probably have a higher block rate than parry, but I don't do the block rate anymore. So parry is not as important on a Paladin as block is. This is more of a Dark Knight attribute. So with that said, that's pretty much Paladin's attributes. Pretty basic, pretty easy, just fight. Now we're going to take a look at our skills. Now I'm going to start with our pre-Heaven's Word skills. First, our actions. Now, as for traits, I'm not going to cover traits. These are pretty self-explanatory and go over them yourself. They just buff certain attributes. What we're going to look over right now is we're going to look over our actual actions. The first thing we're going to look at is our main aggro building combo. That would be Fast Blade, Savage Blade, and Rage of Alone. Now Paladin, this combo is not about doing your damage. The only thing that you need to make note of is that it increases your enmity, as well as Rage of Alone reduces target strength by 10% for 20 seconds. Now, when you get used to this class, you can usually use Rage of Alone every 20 seconds to keep that buff up, and as long as you're using Fight or Flight and you're using the new Heaven's Word combo, you can actually not have to worry about holding this combo as often, so you can do more damage. But pre-60, this will be your main combo. The next combo we have is our MP regenerating combo. That's Fast Blade and Fast Blade and Riot Blade. Again, until you get to Rage of Alone, your Fast Blade and Riot Blade is going to be your hardest hitting combo. So, solo combat wise, you want to use that, not Savage Blade. Raid wise, or dungeon wise, you would use Savage Blade. Now, for mob wise, Flash. Now, this is an issue I see all the time with new gladiators, is they go into a dungeon, they have 2 or 3 mobs, and they're trying to rotate their single combat between all those mobs, and don't realize that they're actually not holding anything, especially against a black thaumaturge or an archer, as we have AoEs. It's very important that as a Paladin, when you have mass adds, flash till your MP is gone, and then regen MP with Riot Blade, and then immediately go back to flashing again. Holding ads with a Paladin is actually a lot easier than it seems. It's so easy. It's boring. It is, yes, it is just that easy. So anyone, if you're playing a Gladiator and you're having issues with that, flash. Just keep flashing. Don't stop flashing until you can't. That will literally hold your ads, especially when you get the trait Enhanced Flash, which blinds effects. This actually makes it even nicer. It allows it, they won't hit you as much. But Flash, the aggro that Flash builds is absolutely amazing. There is no reason to not use Flash in a mob build until your MP's gone. And that is an issue I still see with Paladin until Gladiator to this day. Those are pretty much your enemy building. Of course, we have Shield Swipe, which I never use. Can be used off general cooldown when you blocked an attack. Goes really good with Bulwark. Does 150 and helps increase enmity. We have Shield Bash, which is a stun. That's actually on general cooldown, which you can use it when you need to, making Paladin into a great stun locker. Then you have Shield Lob, which of course is your range attack when you just need to start a pull, Shield Lob, and then go in there and start flashing the mob. Works great. And then the last one is Circle of Scorn. Now this can be used whenever. Works great with mobs as flash, 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 Circle of Scorn, flash, 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 Riot Blade combo, Circle of Scorn runs off cooldown, blah, blah, blah. It's a OGCD move. Should be used when it's off general cooldown. It has a total of 250 potency with the DOT as well as increased enmity. No reason not to use it. Let's go over our cooldowns now. First we have Rampart. Reduces damage taken by 20%. Next we have Fight or Flight. Increases physical damage by 30%. This is really, again, great to use to build aggro really quickly. Using it at a pull at a boss is really good. Convalescence. Increases healing by 30%. Last 20 seconds. Again, if you're in a fight and it's getting healing heavy, or you're getting low on HP, popping that can help the healers get you right back up and save their MP. Next we have Provoke. That allows you to immediately grab hate of an enemy. Very important when you lose aggro to a black mage or a bard. You're going to lose aggro. It's going to happen. Use Provoke when it hits. Awareness. Nullifies chances of suffering crit damage. Useful, I guess. I never really use it. Sentinel, very useful. Reduces damage by 40%. Tempered Will immediately cures bind and heavy while preventing knockback and draw-on effects. This is really good for fights like Ravana and Titan where they knock you back and tend to knock you off an edge. It'll keep you from being knocked back, and it also is kind of fun to get hit by a landslide and go nowhere and laugh at Titan and keep your damage up. Bulwark increases block rate by 60%. Again, this goes great with Shield Swipe, and it just allows you pretty much it's another 20% physical damage reduction. So it's not quite as great as Rampart, but it's definitely really good. That are the action skills pretty much gone through. Next, we're going to look at our drop skills. Sword Oath. This is your DPS stance. You do an extra 50 potency after every each auto attack. That's actually very strong. So totally useful. Shield Oath. This is your tank stance. Reduces damage by 20% while lowering damage dealt by 15%, but also increases your enmity, and it also increases your chance to hit by 5%. Next, Cover. Take all physical damage as intended for another party member. Can only be used when a member is closer than 10 yards. This has lasts for 12 seconds. Now there is a trick with Cover. A fight like Titan where it's pretty much physical damage. If you have two Paladins and they both cover each other, it completely nullifies damage. Unless that's been patched, it completely nullifies damage, so it's like a 12-second damage nullification. It's actually a really fun little trick to use. Next, Spirits Within. This is an attack of 300 potency. It has a cooldown of 30 seconds. It also silences, so when you need to silence a fight, that's really good. This means that Paladin actually has a silence and a stun, which is really nice, especially for solo combat or any combat. It does get weaker as HP decreases. I'm not sure if that's ours or the enemies. It's not really written in there. And I've never really just sat there and timed it, to be honest. Hollowed Ground. Now this is pretty much your major cooldown. It renders you impervious to most attacks. It has a cooldown of 420 seconds. Lasts for 10 seconds. Thing about this move is it can lag out at times. Do make sure that you are actually popping this before the attack's going off. So if you see a cast bar, pop it as soon as that cast bar starts. If you're getting too low, pop it well before you're going to die. Sheltron. This is our first Heaven's Word ability we're going to get. This actually gives us a manual block. It does have a cooldown of 30 seconds, but it actually blocks the next physical attack, meaning it will completely render the next physical attack useless. It's really great, completely stops any damage being taken. It also will restore any MP that is lost, it also restores MP when we block. The next one, Goring Blade. This is our second major combo we're going to have. Now what this will do is it goes with Riot Blade, our MP regening combo. And this has a DOT effect to it. The combo potency is 240, plus it has a DOT of about 400, giving us a total of 640 damage when the whole thing ticks off. Single target wise, this DOT should always be on. If you're not applying the DOT, the only other time you should be using Riot Blade is to regen your MP. But you should not be reapplying Goring Blade until it runs off. Next, Divine Veil. Divine Veil is actually our party-wide shield. It's really cool. Upon HP recovery, so getting healed by a healing spell from another party member, sadly... Oh, they changed it actually. No, they did up this. So actually we can heal ourselves now. So before you had to actually be healed by a party member, now we can actually heal ourselves and cast this shield. Before, the party member had to heal you, so this is actually really nice. So now we can actually control it better. So when we're healed, what this does is it will actually put a shield on everybody for 10% of our HP. The next one, Clemency. This is our actual self-cure. It's 120, and if we heal somebody else, we'll get healed for 50% of this. So it's actually a really strong cure. I'll show how strong that is in a bit. Then we have Royal Authority. This delivers an attack with a potency of 100, but has a combo of 350. This is your DPS combo now. This is also, when you're holding enough hate, this is the combo you should be using regularly at 60, even when you're tanking. You should be able to, with doing a couple Rage of Alones in the beginning with Fight or Flight, be able to switch to pretty much Rage of Alone every 20 seconds, and Royal Authority. Other than that, as well as throwing in your Goring Blade on top of that. Now we're going to take a look at additional skills. Now these are just the ones I have picked. You can pick what you want. The ones available are Foresight, which you should be taking as it is an extra cooldown. Skull Sunder, which you should not be taking as it requires heavy swing, which we don't have, and we have Savage Blade instead, so you should not be taking Skull Sunder. Fracture, which is a DOT, which for us is really weak, no reason to take that, it's only useful really on the warrior. Bloodbath, another cooldown you should be taking, converts 25% of physical damage into HP. That's a really nice self-healing ability. Mercy Stroke, of all the other abilities we can pick, this is one of the more useful ones. Although now that they've changed the ability of Divine Veil, I might actually be switching one of my cross classes for the basic cure, just to have a quick cure spell. Mercy Stroke can only be used when the enemy is below 20%. It has a potency of 200, and if you kill a target with it, you do gain 20% of your HP back. It can be useful in mob pulls, but it's got to be timed right. It's not the most useful ability, but it can be. Next, Conjurer. On Conjurer, we have Cure. Now, before this was actually with the ability of what we were getting our job of Clemency, Cure became useless. However, with the new ability of Divine Veil, Cure might be a lot more useful as it should proc that ability, allowing us a quick, easy, short way to proc that without casting a lot of MP. As Clemency costs 2,000, Cure costs 442. So yeah, it definitely seems like it would be a much easier way to get that cure on. Protect. Now again, this one really is up to you. The white mage has it. Usually your healer should cast it, but sometimes you'll get a healer that won't cast it. it's beneficial to have it instead of having to wait for the healer to realize they haven't cast it. And I won't lie, sometimes as a healer I forget to cast my protect and I'm like, until it's too late. Raise. Resurrects a weakened state. It cannot be used in combat. Only use of this ability is if a target dies, raising them then. But realistically, if that's the case, just unequip it, re-equip it, wait 30 seconds, use it, then research your skills. Stone Skin. This is the only skill of a white mage that you should have on your paladin. Regardless, you should not be choosing another skill over this. Stone Skin is another cooldown of a 10% damage reduction that we can use based off our MP. So you should be using Stone Skin on your bar. No, the three cross-class skills you should have regardless are Stone Skin, Bloodbath, Foresight. The other ones don't matter as much. Now I'll be taking a look more into Divine Veil and seeing if it works correctly. If it does, I will update this video via the comment section to let Weather know I switched Protect off for Cure. Now that's pretty much the basics of tanking on a paladin. They're pretty basic. I'm going to show you now the power of Clemency so you can see how strong this cure is. Now I'm at 22,000, so this is how high this cure is for. So it's about a 4,500 basic cure. When it crits, we can get the crit pop, it crits for about 7,500. So cures can crit for almost half of my HP, extremely useful. Your Sheltron, of course, allowing you to block an attack, lasts for 10 seconds, is extremely useful. Make sure that you keep that on and you use that as soon as it's off cooldown or at the right times in boss fights. The last thing I'm going to do for this video is we're going to go over the different combos and what they look like for a paladin in case you want to know what they look like. The basic one, of course, is Rage of Alone, which goes Fast Blade, Savage Blade, and then Rage of Alone. The second combo, this is going to be your main DPS combos, Fast Blade, Savage Blade, and Royal Authority. And then of course our last combo is going to be Fast Blade, Riot Blade, Goring Blade. Now, one more thing, when you do your Royal Authority combo, something to remember is that you are still going to get enmity from Savage Blade, so you're still going to be building up enmity, you're just not getting that double enmity. So you should still be safe. Again, if you started with a Fight or Flight, did 3 Rage of Alone combos, your strengths, your attack powers, everything's up to where it should be, your gear is equal to those around you, you should be able to be safe with Royal Authority, and then every 20 seconds using Rage of Alone to reapply the reduced strength. Now, for new gladiators or anyone leveling up your gladiator or your paladin, when you do a dungeon, you are going to come across several different types of players. You're going to come across players that have gear way above yours. You're going to lose hate. Don't feel bad if you lose hate in that case. There are times when people are just going to take hate. When I play my bard, leveling my bard up, my bard's at 56, and I go into a dungeon with a gladiator who's maybe 25, my gear is way higher. Even level synced, I'm still doing a lot of damage and more than that tank can keep up with. And so I'm going to take hate at times. I can't use quelling because my quelling's level synced. So what happens is I just take the hate and that's just how it goes. But also at that point a DPS can usually withstand the damage of that as well. So when you're losing hate, make sure you understand, are you losing hate due to faulty gameplay? Are you not doing something you should be doing? Are you losing hate due to circumstances that are beyond your control, such as you have a DPS that is way outgeared than you? The last one, of course, is sometimes you're also going to go against DPSs that just have no understanding of how to play their class and just blasting as much as possible, like a black mage who's blasting flares without using quelling strikes. It's very possible to lose hate on those cases. And again, was that on you or was that on that DPS for not using their cooldowns correctly? So when you lose hate as a tank, remember, don't feel bad, don't lose any, self-esteem or encouragement. I mean, just keep playing it, learn how to do it. Again, if you have a question, leave in the comment section. You can also hit me up. I'm Siegfried Chulainn on the Tonberry Server, and I'm always more than willing to give any advice or help out. If you want any more advanced techniques or advanced information, please feel free to hit me up. Again, this was just a basic guide. This was not a full-on guide, as if you want full-on help, just, again, ask me and I will give it to you. Anyways, I will see you all later. We'll also be uploading a warrior guide soon too. Thank you and have a good day.